your neck?
Well, actually, when I got, on 12, the only board's to 11. Well, they didn't put it up. So when you get up there, you don't see a board until you make the turn on 13. And then sure enough, Floyd, now I think he's maybe 2 back or 1 back. I made a great birdie on 14. So that put me 2 up. So when Ray's name went up, I was 1 up on him. And then 15, I drove it down behind those trees. So I aimed the 7-iron and hooked it around. I said, Joe, this is not a problem. My only problem is if I smoke it and get going too hard. And he goes, it's impossible. And then I had the easiest pitch in the world, and I was so nervous I kind of fluffed it 15 feet short and 2-putted and made par.
Yeah.
But that shot never scared me at all, not for a second. And I was not going to lay up. No way did I want that 90-yard shot.
By the time he reached the 18th green, a 3-putt was all he needed.
When I won on 18, Ray Floyd was there, and that was amazing.
Well, this is rapid fire, Freddie, and for those of you that don't know the rules, you're probably communists. Somebody start a clock. If you were a zoo animal, what would you be?
Probably a gorilla.
A gorilla?
Yeah. I feel like I'm pretty thick. I'm not strong, and I'm not saying they're not, but a gorilla.
Yeah. What's your all-time favorite movie?
Tin Cup.
Are you superstitious?
You better believe it.
Who was your celebrity crush as a kid?
I Dream of Jeannie.
Barbara Eden?
Yeah, she was. I would say that too, but the Jeannie part was very, very, very nice.
Who's the toughest player you faced in a Tuesday money game?
Ray Floyd or Phil Mickelson.
Who's the best trash talker on the course?
Payne Stewart.
Yes, he was.
Payne Stewart.
He was. Phil's pretty good too.
Yeah. I don't mind Phil because I know Phil so well.
Yeah.
I can't give him everything.
The worst dancer in PGA Tour history is?
Me. I've never danced. So the worst dancer, I'll give you a dancer, Jack Nicklaus.
Well,
We'll throw him a bone.
Yeah. Favorite place to eat on tour?
Old days, In-N-Out with Joe. We would drive on the West Coast 30 minutes for an In-N-Out.
Well, that is the end of Rapid Fire, and as always in Freddie Couples style, it was extremely casual. Yeah. Who christened you Boom Boom?
This is Vance Hefner and Gary McCord.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. And it stuck with Gary McCord, but I was playing with them in Atlanta, and I was on the 11th hole. Thursday, you play with them. I knocked it on the 11th hole. Friday, I knocked it on the afternoon, the 11th hole and 2. I know it was Vance, said boom, boom. And then it stuck, and McCord started calling me Boom Boom everywhere we went, and that's all he calls me even on TV. So that's Vance and Gary.
And is it true that you gave bones?
I did bones, yeah. Yes. Yeah, knee-knocking bones.
Yeah.
Went to hang out with him in Athens, and he's a very good man. He and Joey, I had more meals with than probably anyone I've ever, especially Joe, but Bones went to a lot of. And that's what the tour is kind of all about. But Bones, I gave him the nickname Bones.
You know, on this show, I ask players who they most like to be paired with, and you are, without question, the most common answer. Who do you like to play with?
On the PGA Tour?
Yeah.
Well, Davis Love, Greg Norman, and I got paired with him a lot, Nick Faldo, a lot at the British Opens, but I always played well when I played with Davis. Norman was just such an amazing guy to be paired with. And Faldo, it was not overpowering magic, but it was magic how he played. I mean, there'd be a hole 480 yards back then, which was uncommon. And I'd have a driver out trying to figure out how I could hit a 3-iron, and he'd take a 1-iron out, then hit another. He played a certain way that no one else played, and I just enjoyed playing with him. But if I was a little bit older and closer to them, obviously I would say Jack and Arnold. But Davis was a treat. We played a lot alike, so I could learn up from Davis.
Well, towards the end of your regular tour career, you got to play with Tiger at the beginning of his regular tour career.
I will tell you this. So I played a practice round with him in Norman and Trip Keeney at Augusta. And when we finished, I asked Paul Marchand, I said, Paul, what did you just see there? Is this guy all they say? Is he going to win 19 majors or 18 majors and pass Jack or tie Jack? I don't see it. So we go a little further, and he starts, the career goes. He wins his first event. And I played with him in a tournament in the Philippines. And I went, wow, this is a totally different ball game. There's no practice round. At the World Series, I made a 30-footer on the 54th hole to shoot 63. All that did was put me in his group on Sunday. He was behind me still, but I passed a lot of people. I have played with Tiger where he won. He won the World Series. I don't know what year, but...
Well, he won it 8 times.
Yeah, so pick one. But it's fun to watch him. I had some tears in my eyes when he won in Atlanta. I think the world of the guy, and I think what he's done for golf is amazing, because we all know what Arnold did and Jack did for golf, and several others. I don't want to say 10 more years. We can get 5 more years like we just saw. That's more than enough.
It'd be amazing.
More FEHERTY will continue after a few words from our sponsor. We've been doing FEHERTY for a while now, but every episode I learn something new from our guests. Just like Farmers Insurance knows a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two. So, thanks to Farmers for supporting my show.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
All right then, now back to the show.
Few locations have stricken as much fear into the hearts of players than 17 at the stadium course. It's a subject I discussed with the man behind the curtain, former Commissioner Tim Fincham, in this clip from the bunker.
One time, Sevy was here on a Saturday morning. He gets me and he says, Tim, I want to talk to you about 17. I said, what is it, Sevy? He says, well, there's no bailout. You know, you need something.
There's nobody to
bailout. I said, Sevy, it's 132 yards. Why do you want to bail out? And he says, well, no, you need the bunker in the back or on the left, a place where you can be firm and maybe keep. I said, Sevy, let me ask you a question. Did you make the cut yesterday? Because I haven't looked at the number. He said, no, I missed the cut. I said, what'd you do at 17? He said, it has nothing to do with this conversation. He said, this is not about me.
Oh, no.
I said, no.
Oh, no.
He made 7, missed the cut by 2.
TPC Sawgrass may have bedeviled Sevy, but it's been a great course for Fred, who's notched 2 wins there, including one when he looked like he still belonged in third period algebra. Considering you were a 24-year-old whippersnapper, that was quite a performance.
It was a good first round, and I finally thought, wow. And then the second day, I had an early tee time, which back then it was in March, and it's kind of a softer course. And I just went on, and I just kept making birdies, and I think I had 2 eagles. I ended up shooting 64, which put me way up there. And I played with some unbelievable people on Saturday and Sunday. Lee Trevino would be one, Seve Ballesteros, Lanny Watkins, and Jim Thorpe were all up there.
After the third round, you find out that you're paired with Tom Watson and Seve the next day. What do? Do you go to the range? Do you sleep?
Well, there were a few times where I would call. Back then you called. Now it comes on your phone. Hi, it's Fred Couples calling. Who am I playing with? You're playing at 2:20 with Tom Watson and Seve Ballesteros. And you hang up, honestly, and you sit there and you go, oh, Jesus, that's a problem. I never played with them. Who I'd rather have had Jay Hawes and Davis Love? You better believe it. That would have been a great call. I'd hang up and go, I'm ready. But they're idols, and they still are. I'm on the Champions Tour. Tom Watson, I didn't play much this year, but Hawaii shot his age, or under his age. And I'm like, that's the guy I want to play with. And I played much better than I did at Augusta with him.
Winning the Players at that stage got you a 10-year exemption. I mean, did you worry about such a thing?
When you look back at things, and people, even now, they say a 2-year exemption. So my first year on tour, I played the last 13 tournaments in a row. I knew if you skipped a tournament, then you had to come back, you had to Monday qualify. So I made 13 cuts in a row, and I was making $700. And earlier I might have said, I don't know how you're tired playing golf, but I was physically exhausted from I don't think I ever went home. And then at Pensacola, I had a great finish, so I was exempt. I finished 53rd on the money list.
Was it top 60 at that?
At that time, yes. Okay. And then otherwise you went to Monday qualifyings. And then TPC, I won a 10-year exemption. That was my career.
And then you win it again in 96, closing with a 64.
Yeah.
What was it about that course that just clicked?
I could play it. You know, I've heard a couple guys say, oh, I won there and it's shocking the way I play. And I don't play much different. The guy I'm talking about would be Phil. But I just knew how to get it around. I didn't really challenge it. And I challenge most every shot, every golf course. But you can't really challenge that course. It'll eat you up. And so on the last day, I played really, really well. I got a break of a lifetime. I mean, my ball was pushed on 16. Then I go to birdie 17. I think Tommy Tolles was up there in Montgomery.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I had a huge lead and finished well ahead of Tommy, who was leading at the time.
If you needed proof that you play well on the golf course, in the first round in 1999, you hit your tee shot in the water.
Yeah.
What happened then?
Well, then I was 6 or 7 over. And I just said, give me a ball. And I think I teed it up, and I flew it in for, what do they call that, a hole in 3?
A hole in 3, I think it is, yeah. True or false, you once went to the Open Championship without your passport?
I didn't have it, so I had to wait another day, and I had it FedEx to me.
Yeah.
Did not have it. Didn't know you needed it.
Did someone ever break into your house and tamper with your golf clubs? And was it a jealous boyfriend?
No.
No, they didn't?
No. You're on the right track. The jealous boyfriend? No.
No?
No, it was someone else.
There's been all kinds of adjectives over the years to describe the sort of Freddie vibe, if you like, you know, relaxed, cool. How would you describe it?
I guess, you know, just some of the things. I mean, nonchalant is a word I get all the time. I don't mind it. You know, lazy. I don't mind that. I've been called lazy, and I am. I wish I would have given golf a little more.
You see, I wouldn't see that as lazy. I would say that's an efficient use of time.
No, it is. But when you go to a golf tournament and you see a rider or a rider sees you and you're hitting next to Davis and you're kind of screwing around and Davis is just hitting shot after shot after shot, anything can come up. In the gallery, some people say some things, but no one's really said anything that would affect me either way. You're a great player, or, you know, I watched you play and you weren't worth the bus money coming here. I kind of look at them, you know, and thank you.
In 92, you started 7 behind Davis and came back to win. Was golf easy for you at that point? Did it feel easy?
Well, I was 7 behind, so I had a good last day. And, again, we all know Davis and I are like this. And I think after I beat him, one of the comments was that was very difficult. There were 30,000 people, and 5 of them were rooting for me, and the other 34,995 were rooting for him. It really was like that. I'm 59 now, so I can say it was kind of easy. When I played well, I drove the ball well. That made the game seem easy for me. Some people would go home and bang balls for days and days. I would go home and just, I don't want to get near them. And when I come back, if I pick it up fairly fast, my whole thing was I'd take a lot of time off and I'd always come back for a tournament to try and just play in it to get the kinks out. And then that next week, I needed to get moving. And sometimes I would go and do really, really well, which would give you a lot of confidence. But yeah. I didn't play a lot. I was not someone who wanted to play 28 or 30 tournaments. I didn't like to travel, and I liked being at home. I think a lot of us like being at home, but it's a job where you got to go.
I heard once that you spent so much time on the sofa that you've been reupholstered twice.
Probably. When I get home, I don't do a lot. And I do that very, very well. People always laugh. And now I have friends that I've had a long time, and they know. You know, my goal is not to go play 18, go to the mall and run around the mall, and then come home and get on a bike because they want to go bike riding. I do like to play golf at home. But when I'm done, I change my shoes at the house when I'm done. So I don't go in the locker room. I'm not a hanger around her. I like to play, say goodbye to the boys, and I get home. And on the PGA Tour, I was a lot like that, too. I didn't see any reason to hang out at the golf course for 4 hours. I just didn't see it.
Is it up? And that's right where you want.
God forbid that I needed to work on my putting, I would go putt for 15 minutes. And I figured if I can't do better in 15 minutes, another hour is not going to help me.
Do you think that behavior led to some people believing that maybe you didn't care as much as you did?
I know when I'm mad, sometimes I play better. And I know when I'm lackadaisical and don't care, sometimes I play better. But there are other times people come watch and they'll say, wow, I just happened to watch you play like holes 7, 8, 9 at LA, and you were hockeying putts, and I'm like, it's embarrassing to me. But sometimes in my mind, I try and turn a clock the other